Dance isn't just about movement, it is truly a way to see the world, and dancing has changed my life in so many ways. Hi, I'm Lauren Messina, and I've been dancing for 26 years, teaching, choreographing, performing, and I also have an online community for dancers called School Dance. In this video, I wanted to share a little bit about my experience finding out how transformative dance can be and how it's not just about the movements, but it's about things that are deeper and even more meaningful than just the movements themselves. So I hope you'll stick around in this video and just chat with me. All right, let's get going. So for this story, I want to describe a moment where I realized how transformative dance really was. And I'd say that was in 2020, around the time of the pandemic, when a lot of performing arts organizations were closing their doors, and the company I was dancing with, we realized that we were going to have to cancel our shows that were coming up. We'd been really excited about them, preparing for them, and the performances were coming up in, I think, only just a few days. This was in March of 2020, and we realized we were going to have to cancel these shows, and yeah, it was a really sad time, not really knowing what the future was going to be like as an artist and someone who needed to be in a building dancing in close proximity to other people. It was at that time that I also found out about a summer intensive program that was going to be held virtually, and I decided to apply, and that was for the Gibney Dance Company's summer intensive in 2020. It was virtual, and it was an awesome experience that led me to do other workshops with Gibney as well. But in that process, I had to do an audition video, and the audition video I did outside near the canal that's kind of close to our house. We live in Louisiana, and I did a little solo improvisation outside and had my partner film, asked him to film, and dancing outside, looking back on that moment, I think was kind of a turning point in not necessarily a realization of where dance could be, but I hadn't really danced in many other non-traditional spaces. I danced in studios and on stages a lot. I hadn't done a ton of outdoor dances or dances in spaces that we don't typically see dance performed in. And doing that audition video led me down a path of dancing outside a lot more, especially during the pandemic. There were a lot of outdoor dance performances, but also of just finding new meaning in dance. It was in that year, later in that year, that I found out that we were pregnant with I was pregnant with our first child, and my performance path changed. It was nice to be able to stay with the company I was dancing with and still perform the small projects that they had going on during the pandemic, but also to be able to move into a new season, preparing for birth, and then working later as a parent artist and returning to the company after that. But dance for me became more than movement. During that time, it became an opportunity to express myself, to share my feelings and passions with others, to inspire people through movement. A lot of us were searching for different inspirational things, I think, at that time, to keep us busy and to keep us inspired and active. And there's also so much going in the world at that time and now, related to politics and climate and just the way that the world works. And I realized even more the power and connection of movement, not just to tell stories about these kinds of topics, but to foster change and awareness and to mobilize people and bring them together. So dance has the power to transform lives by fostering self-expression, confidence, and connection. And there's 3 questions I wanted to go through today in this video. I don't think it'll be super long, but the first question is, when did you first realize dance was transformative for you? I'm asking myself these questions, but I'm also curious to know if you've had that experience. And I should say, I mentioned before, we have a school dance community. It's an online group that's for anyone who's interested in dance, whether you're an enthusiast, a practitioner, or a professional. Anyone can come in and take class with us. We have lots of free classes and also dance breaks that happen throughout the day, throughout the week, where we meet for 15 minutes and we just dance to songs together on Zoom. It's like a little informal dance party. If you are interested in joining, you can click on the link in the description. I would love to meet you there. And then I would also like to say that for me, dance, I think, became transformative, or I realized its transformative nature in grad school when I was working on a project. And I still have my thesis project here, which I don't know if anyone will ever read, but it was called Making of a Movement, Activist Dance Performance as a Path to Transformative Empathetic Learning. What even is all of that? I realized so many people had been using movement throughout history to bring people together and to create change. And my project was about movements of protest and power, and how we bring people together and we form these different kinds of iconic movements, whether it's a gesture or whether it's a group movement of some kind or choreography that has the purpose of creating change, encouraging change, inspiring change in other people. And the viewers, and often the audience, is participating in this as well. So in this process of creating this work, it was performed at the university that I was at as an MFA candidate, and the group that I worked with, we talked about a lot of things that were happening in the world regarding the 2016 election in the United States, which is where I am located, like I mentioned. And I realized just the power of these groups of people, even students, just coming together to dance and to talk about things and to move through them as a unit. And I think that having that experience was a precursor for me being able to process and come to terms with my relationship to dance during the pandemic later in 2020. Here we are, 8 years later now, after that project in 2016 and 2017. It's now 2024. We're at the end of the year. And the next question I'm asking myself is, how has this realization shaped my relationship or my careers? Why were you even interested to know? Maybe you're a dancer too, and we can have this back and forth with one another. You can leave a comment. I'd love to chat with you. Maybe you're interested in the topic of dance and just want to know what is it that these dancers are doing and why. Or you just came onto this video to find some entertainment. I don't know if this will be entertaining, but I do enjoy chatting with people, and I would love to hear about your experience as you share in mine. Dance has shaped my relationships and career. Finding out the transformative nature of dance has shaped my relationships and career, because I am now able to see the world from a different perspective. I'm now able to see that everyone can create, that dance is for everyone and everyone can dance. I'm able to see how we can make the dance world even more, what's the word? Egalitarian? Is that the word? We can make the dance world more accessible to everyone who's in it, and we can level the playing field where it doesn't feel like every studio, stage, or company is this huge hierarchy where the people at the bottom aren't having their needs met. Realizing the transformative power of dance has encouraged me from the inside. I have the ability to express, to change my mood, simply the way that I feel, to share and inspire with others, and to create changes in the world that way. But I also am led to change spaces. I've taken a lot of the dances that I've created and performed lately, and they've been done in spaces that aren't traditional dance spaces. I think traditional dance spaces now is becoming less and less of a thing. Dance is kind of performed anywhere and everywhere. So many people are creating works in museums, which I've participated in doing, creating works in libraries, in nonprofit organizations, in alternative spaces like warehouses and anywhere. But seeing dance be taken to people in various places, it's just opened up, I think, a world where other people who weren't able to access it in the past now have a chance to view and even to participate in this thing that many of us love so much. So the third question is, what advice would you give someone disconnected from dance? Oh, and lastly, it has also shaped my career path in that now I am dancing in kind of a freelance, independent artist format where I'm able to choreograph these projects and participate in performances with friends, with companies, and other organizations, and do it on a project by project basis and still do things online and share my story. I also do some video editing on the side, which has been a nice supplemental income. But advice I would give to someone who feels disconnected from dance right now, if you're someone who has never danced before, I would encourage you to consider trying a class. Or maybe if a class feels like too much, just try moving in your own house or your own space, somewhere that feels safe and comfortable for you. I've been dancing a lot around the house, opening up space in our living room, and it's been wonderful to reconnect to my body in a way that feels safe, it feels very private, and it feels like I can reflect on a lot of things that have been happening in my life in the past year. So I would encourage you to, if not try a class, maybe try a dance break of some kind, where you just take a break. We could even do it right now, where you take a break, you find ways to move. It can be simple, it can be small. Just find ways to see how your body moves differently than it does throughout your regular day. It might also be interesting to try finding ways to make the daily movements that you do feel more like an expressive dance. So that's one way. For others that are feeling disconnected from dance, if you are already currently inside the dance world, whether you're in a company, performing, choreographing, so many different things we do, teaching, I would encourage you to pause and reflect on how you're feeling, and also maybe even if you understand or can process why you're feeling disconnected from dance. Is it a lack of community? Are you feeling like you don't have the support in the space that you're in? You're feeling isolated and disconnected within that space, and that in turn is maybe making you feel isolated and disconnected from dance itself. If that's the case, I would encourage you to find people around you that can support you on your journey. If that's not the company or the organization that you're with, or if that's not the school you're in, if you're a student, or if you are a teacher or professor of some kind, create that around yourself. We can find alternative ways to create our communities. We can create our own families, and we can create the support that we haven't felt maybe in the past. That's what I would do if you are already in a dance space. If you're feeling disconnected from dance, as in you've danced in the past and you want to return to it, I would also encourage you to get more in tune with the why and the how. But sometimes I think the times that I've felt that way, I've let myself believe things that aren't true about my dance experience, whether that has to do with comparison and seeing other people dancing and seeing their journey and their path and comparing mine. We're all in different places on our dance journey. Some of us are here, some of us are there, but each path matters just as much as the other one. Each path is a valuable choice that you can make. So if you're feeling separate from dance and you're wanting to return to it, I would get curious about why. I would get curious about why you left it to begin with, and if that's something maybe that you need to take time to process, to uncover, to dance, write, listen, make videos about, however you process things, talk it out. Get curious about why you left dance in the first place, or maybe dance was taken from you. The experience wasn't available for you for whatever reason. And then imagine the possibility of how you return to dance. I think it's super empowering that you have a chance to shape the way that you return to the dance world. So you might come back to dance in a completely new way. Maybe you were taking classes before on a regular basis, very consistent, very disciplined with your practice, and it just didn't feel right. You don't have to return to the dance world and to dance this experience of movement in the same way that you experienced it before. You can come in on your own terms. You can decide how you want to move, who you want to move with, and in what spaces you want to move. I think that is a really empowering way to bring back that connection to dance, but also to open our minds to the fact that we get to choose how, when, where we want to show up, and what we want our dance experience to look like. Okay, I think that's all that I really wanted to share with you on this topic of how dance has transformed my life, and there's so many other ways that it has. If you have any questions for me, please leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to get back with you. If you're interested in being in an online space and finding community with other people around this topic of dance, from whatever entry point you're at, enthusiast, practitioner, professional, please click on the link in the description and come and join us in School Dance. I would love to see you there. All right, have a good one.